There we go. I think we're recording. Hi, your name is Kirsten Collins, right?
That's my name, yes.
Okay. And you're running for what exactly?
Dallas, Oregon City Council.
Okay. And right now you appear to be at a Black Lives Matter gathering.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So, what is the goal of this organization that you support?
The goal of today's rally or the
Yes.
goal of Black Lives Matter?
Sure, just today's rally.
The goal of today's rally is to make sure that we have a presence in Dallas, letting Dallas know that racism will not be tolerated here and that we are standing for changes to systemic oppression and systemic racism here in Dallas.
Okay. What sort of systemic racism is happening directly in Dallas?
Well, we happen to live in a town that has a number of residents who feel it is absolutely acceptable to be openly and vulgarly racist.
Okay. What should happen to those people?
What should happen to them?
Yeah, the ones that are openly and vulgarly racist.
So I'm not looking for something to happen to anyone. I'm looking for a change in the city's tone where that kind of behavior isn't expected to be accepted.
Okay. How do we go about showing our non-acceptance?
Well, this is one way. By standing out here and saying that we fight for the rights of all of our neighbors, and we think that everyone deserves to have the same equal treatment, regardless of their nationality, regardless of their skin color, regardless of their wherever their home community was. And you'll see as people drive by that we have a lot of support here in Dallas as well. And I think that the more Dallas residents see all of us out here, the more likely it is that tone changes, and that people realize that being overtly racist is not going to be tolerated.
Okay, so Dallas's primary racism issue is some citizens are overtly racist. Is that correct?
That's one of the issues, absolutely. I think that we have a number of issues ranging from inequitable treatment of our neighborhoods, and we're working on figuring out ways to work with our leadership, our city leadership, our police leadership, and the county leadership as well, to a lesser degree, to make sure that we're not just focusing on the minority of people who are overtly racist, but that we're focusing on making changes to the way the system works.
You said that there are different treatment to different residential. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Different
What
neighborhoods.
does that mean? Different
Yeah, I'll
neighborhoods?
just give you one simple, small example. I've lived in Dallas for more than 20 years, and I literally live on the wrong side of the tracks, like literally on the other side of the railroad tracks, and we don't have sidewalks in our neighborhood. So
Okay.
kids who are walking from my neighborhood to school are doing so without the benefit of a sidewalk. And in that 20-year time period, we've replaced the sidewalks downtown twice. That's inequitable treatment of neighbors.
Okay, and by inequitable, do you mean as far as financially, or that's not a race issue though, right?
On the surface, it's not a race issue, no. And when you look into systemic racism and how neighborhoods are treated and where people were allowed to even get loans to own homes, it boils down to a racial issue. But today, the fact that my neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks is based on the fact that I live in the wrong side of town and we're ignored.
Okay, so in the past it's been a racial issue, and at this point it's more of a financial thing. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, I don't think you can ever really peel back all of the layers enough to erase the fact of where it started. But today, yes, it's a financial issue, and we need to stop paying attention to the wrong things and start moving in directions where all of our neighborhoods are treated equitably. Neighborhood revitalization is really important if we're going to have affordable housing across the board so that people want to live here in Dallas.
So would you say financial privilege is a big issue here?
It's a good question. Financial privilege. I think there's a socioeconomic strata, and that there's a certain privilege that comes along with that. Yes. Do I think that that's endemic only to Dallas? No.
Okay, I was just referring to your wrong side of the tracks analogy. That's like a financial thing, like a rich side and a poor side. Is that right?
Yeah. There's definitely neighborhoods that are better supported, infrastructure with better infrastructure support than others, and that doesn't lead to a situation where everyone feels welcome to live here.
Okay, maybe I'll just ask one more question and then let you get back to your important business here of running for city council. But are there any additional systemic issues in Dallas that you're concerned about?
Additional issues?
Yeah, systemically racist issues going on in Dallas.
Yes, I think there really are. I think that we really should listen to the people of color in our neighborhoods here in Dallas rather than to me. I think that while it's important to have representatives on the city council who will listen to the people of color, I don't think it's my place to speak for them.
Would you say that the city council right now, like the people who are on city council, refuse to listen to people of color?
I would say that they have not reached out to enough. They have not reached out enough to people of color to get their feedback.
Okay, so there's like a moral issue with the fact that those individuals are not directly reaching out to people of color. How would they do that?
Well, by having sit-down talk time, reaching out and saying, hey, we're considering doing whatever is on the agenda, and reaching out to people of color and saying, we would like to hear your feedback about how this is going to impact you and your community.
Do they do that with people who aren't of color, or do they do that with white people?
I believe that our city council has a group of stakeholders that they reach out to, yes.
Okay, so they reach out to stakeholders directly. It's not like they reach out to city committee meetings?
Yeah, sure. That would be one of the stakeholders, or on city committee meetings. But I think it's important that we reach out to our neighbors,
okay,
to the people who are here living, working in Dallas, and not just to those who are privileged enough to have the time to attend city council meetings and work groups.
Okay, that's a little confusing. So are these meetings open to the public?
Yeah, the meetings are open to the public, but they're not welcoming to the public.
Okay. They're not welcoming to the public. All right. Interesting. In what, can I ask how?
Yeah, sure. When I first decided that I wanted to start attending meetings, and then of course the pandemic hit, and that kind of put a chink in everything. But it wasn't, I wasn't welcomed with open arms. It was kind of like, well, you can attend the meetings, why do you want to? And that's not the tone we should be setting. Government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people, not, well, why do you want to be here?
It's very interesting. And there are people of color, and do you consider yourself to be a white person? Is that right?
I'm Hispanic.
Hispanic? Okay, cool. So, you're saying, would you consider yourself to be a person of color? Is that correct?
Sure, yes. However, I don't consider myself somebody who speaks for a Black, Indigenous, or a person of color. Being as a light-skinned, raised in America person, I don't think that I'm the right person to be that representative.
Okay. How would the people on city council reach out to folks of color? Like, just how would they actually reach out to them?
If I were on city council, one of the first things that I would do is reach out to groups, clubs, churches, and business leaders, people of color, and find out from them the best way to invite them to the table. Rather than me assuming the right way to invite them to the table, I would ask how they want to be invited.
Okay. And during these meetings, would people who are white also be welcome?
Of course. Of course. This isn't about This is about making sure that we are an inclusive group.
Okay. So you're saying that right now it's more divisive and less, there's less equality when it comes to these meetings right now, the way the people running them have them less equal. Is that correct?
I think that we lack equality and representation.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's a lot of information. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thanks.
All right. And go ahead and you can say your name again and what position you're running for.
My name is Kirsten Collins, and I'm running for City Council in Dallas, Oregon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.